Okay, so let's unpack this. I want you to picture a scenario. You're in a high-stakes meeting, or maybe you're in the middle in a really complicated, tense argument with a partner or a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know the grammar, you know the vocabulary, you technically know English, but you feel stuck.
Stuck how? Like you
Yeah.
can't find the right words?
No, not really. It's like you have the words, but you don't have the code. It's like playing a video game, but you don't have the cheat codes to get past the boss level.
I see.
You can form a sentence, sure, but you don't know the specific combination of words to maybe defuse a bomb, or to take credit without sounding arrogant, or to just end a conversation that is going absolutely nowhere.
Right. You're talking about the massive gap between textbook English,
Yeah.
the stuff you get graded on in school, and what I like to call survival English.
Survival English. I like that. It sounds pretty intense.
It is intense. And just to be clear, when we say survival English, we don't mean asking where the bathroom is or how to order a coffee. We're talking about power dynamics. We're talking about emotional intelligence. The source material we have for this deep dive is fascinating because it's a stack of phrases that look incredibly simple on the surface, idioms, common expressions, but they are actually heavy tactical tools.
So our mission today is to unpack this stack. We're going to look at how to be direct without being a jerk, how to handle disaster when things go wrong, and how to navigate time constraints.
And how to fix things when they break.
Exactly.
And the key insight here, if you look at the research, is really intentionality. Most people just talk, they fill the air. The people who master these phrases are deploying language to get a specific result.
Deploying language. I love that.
They're using these phrases as tools to navigate responsibility and conflict.
So let's jump right into the first bucket then, the art of direct communication. There is a phrase that kept coming up in the notes, and frankly, it sounds a little aggressive to me. Get the point across.
It can be aggressive, certainly, but think about the utility of it. The phrase isn't just I spoke or I said something. It's get the point across. It implies there is a chasm between me and you, a misunderstanding, noise, distraction, and I have to build a bridge or maybe even fire a projectile to ensure the payload of my message lands on your side.
That's a great visual, and there's a specific example in the research that really highlights this aggression as utility. The sentence is, I deliberately used that word to get the point across.
That is a masterclass sentence. I mean, you really have to break that down. You're in a heated discussion. Maybe you used a harsh word. Maybe you swore.
Yeah.
The other person is offended. Now, instead of apologizing for your tone, which is what we are socially conditioned to do, you double down on the function of the word.
So you're basically saying, I wasn't being rude by accident, I was being shocking on purpose.
Precisely. You are telling them, I needed to shock you to ensure you understood the gravity of the situation. It shifts the debate entirely.
How so?
You move the conversation from, why are you being mean, to, did you understand the message? It prioritizes clarity over politeness.
That's a risky move, though. You have to be pretty confident to pull that off. It's high risk, high reward. If you use it, you have to mean it. But it cuts through the noise like a knife.
Okay, let's look at another one that kind of walks that line between business and personal. Up front. Now, when I hear up front, I got to say, I immediately clutch my wallet.
As you should. In a transactional context, like the example in our sources, to move forward, we would need 20% of the payment up front. It's purely about risk mitigation.
Right. I want the money before I do the work because I don't trust the universe.
Exactly. But then the source material pivots to this usage in a personality context. I've been very upfront about it. That feels different. That feels kind of emotional.
Yeah.
It's moral. Think about the difference. If you tell someone, look, I've been very upfront about my feelings, or I was upfront about the risks, you are claiming the ethical high ground. You're saying, I am not a liar. I did not hide the ball.
If you are surprised right now, that is on you, not me. It's a shield. It is absolutely a shield. It protects you from accusations of deceit. It's a trust-building word, paradoxically, because by claiming you were upfront, you are asserting that you have nothing to hide.
So getting the point across is the sword, and being upfront is the shield. But sometimes, no matter what weapons you have, the conversation just dies.
Or it should die.
Right. And I found this next phrase in the stack to be incredibly dismissive, but the notes suggest it's actually a productivity tool. The phrase is, I don't see the point in talking about it.
Oof. The conversation stopper.
It just feels like a door slamming shut. I don't see the point.
It feels that way, but let's look at the high-level takeaway here. This is about opportunity cost. If we are in a meeting that is just circling the drain,
Yeah, we've all been there.
rehashing old arguments, focusing on things we can't control, someone has to be the surgeon who cuts it off.
So it's not, I don't like you. It's, this specific interaction has zero ROI.
Exactly. It signals futility. We are burning calories and getting no heat. It's a way to save the relationship or the project by stopping the argument before it becomes toxic.
That's a helpful reframe. You're actually protecting the relationship from further damage.
Correct. But, and this is a big but, you have to be so careful with your tone. If you say it with a sneer, it's an insult. If you say it with exhaustion, a sigh, it's a plea for peace.
Context is everything. Now, speaking of things getting messy and needing to stop the bleeding, we need to talk about disaster management. The idiom that appears everywhere in these sources is go south.
A classic.
Things went south. It's such a directional way to describe failure. Why south? Is it just because down is bad?
Mostly, yes. On a map, south is down. Charts go down when you lose money. It's a descent. But in our context, go south is almost always the prelude to the blame game.
It's the setup.
It's the setup for the conflict.
Right. The source had this really ominous warning. They're going to hold you accountable if things go south.
And let's look at the grammar there. Hold you accountable. It's aggressive. It implies you are slippery. It implies that you are trying to escape, and I have to physically grab you and pin this failure on you.
It implies punishment. You are being held. You aren't doing the holding.
Exactly. You're the victim of the consequences. Compare that to the other example we have. They'll be held accountable. It's passive. It's something that happens to you.
But then we have the antidote, the phrase that just flips the power dynamic completely. I think this is my favorite phrase in the whole stack.
I think I know which one you mean. Is that that's on us?
Yes, that's on us. We should have come more prepared.
I love this phrase. It is a Jedi mind trick.
It sort of is. Think about it. If I screw up a project and I start making excuses, oh, the traffic was bad, the vendor was late, you lose respect for me.
Right. I want to hold you accountable because you aren't holding yourself.
But if I walk in and immediately say, hey, this went south, that's on us, we messed up, what happens to your anger?
It evaporates. Because you already said what I was going to say. You just stole the prosecutor's thunder.
It diffuses the attack instantly.
And more importantly, by taking ownership, that's on us. You move from being the defendant to being the leader. It signals confidence. We broke it. We own it. We'll fix it.
It's wild how admitting fault actually increases your status.
Only if you do it quickly. If you wait until you're cornered, it's a confession. If you do it up front, it's leadership.
There's that word up front again. It really is all connected. Okay, moving on to the next segment, the dynamics of time. We have two phrases involving the word drag.
Drag is such a visceral word. Friction, weight, resistance.
First, we have the duration aspect. We can't let these things drag on too long.
Usually used in legal disputes, uncomfortable meetings, or bad breakups. If something drags on, it means it has lost its momentum but hasn't lost its mass. It's just dead weight that we're all pulling.
But then there's the interpersonal one, which I think is really useful for anyone with social anxiety or guilt. I'm so sorry for dragging you into this.
Yes, this is crucial. Imagine you have some drama with your landlord. You ask your friend to come help you move a couch, and suddenly the landlord is screaming at both of you.
Oh, total nightmare scenario.
You have compromised your friend's peace. You drag them into your chaos. Acknowledging that is vital. It's not just an apology for the event, it's an apology for the entanglement.
It validates that they didn't ask to be there.
Right. It respects their agency. It says, I know this isn't your fight.
Now, on the flip side of dragging and slowness, everyone seems obsessed with speed. We have the beat the phrases.
Beat the traffic. Beat the lunch crowd.
Is this just suburban dad talk? We gotta leave by 6 a.m. to beat the traffic?
It is dad talk, I'll admit it. But look at the psychology behind it. It frames the world as a competition. It's you versus the horde.
It's strategic. It's not just leaving early. It's winning.
It implies foresight. I am smart enough to anticipate the bottleneck, and I am disciplined enough to act early to avoid it. It transforms a mundane commute into a tactical victory.
It's funny because beating the traffic feels like such a small win, but man, it feels so good.
It's a control mechanism. Can't control the traffic, but we can control when we leave. It's one of the few wins we get in a chaotic world.
That's valid. Okay, I want to pivot to a word that seems to be doing a ton of heavy lifting in these notes. The word is stand.
Stand is all about positioning. Where are your feet planted?
Right, so we use it for opinions. Where do you stand on this issue?
And notice how that is different from what do you think? Or how do you feel?
It sounds more permanent.
It does. Where do you stand implies you have staked out a territory. You are willing to defend it. It's a great phrase for moderating a debate because it asks people to declare their allegiance to an idea.
And then we have the high-stakes version involving risk. This ties right back to going south, the source says. They stand to lose a lot of money if things go south.
So here, stand to means are positioned to. You are standing on the edge of a cliff. If the wind blows, if things go south, you fall. It highlights vulnerability and potential.
But my favorite use of stand in this stack, and I think this is the most charming, useful phrase we have today, is for the social invitation.
I'd love to join you for a drink if the invitation still stands.
It's so polite, but it's also really, really useful.
It is socially graceful.
Yeah.
Let's play this out. I asked you for drinks 2 weeks ago. You were busy. Now you're free. If you just text me, let's get drinks, it assumes I'm still interested.
Which might be presumptuous. Maybe you moved on. Maybe you're mad I was busy.
Exactly. But by asking if the invitation still stands, you are giving me an out. You are acknowledging that offers have an expiration date. You're asking, is the door still open?
It's low pressure. It makes it easy for you to say yes, but safe for you to say no.
And that is the essence of good etiquette, making the other person feel comfortable.
Okay, we've been polite. Now let's get into the gritty stuff. Conflict, correction, fixing things when we've messed up. The source material gives us a phrase that sounds, well, it sounds exactly like my mother.
Let me guess. You should know better.
You should know better than to act that way. Ouch.
It stings because it's not a critique of the action. It's a critique of the person.
Break that down for me. Why does that hurt so much more than you're wrong?
If I say you did that wrong, I'm correcting a mistake, a typo, a calculation error. If I say you should know better, I am saying you possess the intelligence, the maturity, and the experience to avoid this behavior, but you chose to ignore it.
So it's an attack on my judgment.
It implies disappointment in your character.
Yeah.
It establishes a hierarchy. I am the judge. You are the one being judged. You have to be very careful using this with a peer or a spouse. It can be toxic.
It feels condescending.
It is. Use it only when you really need to assert dominance or express deep shock at a breach of protocol.
Okay, so let's say the person apologizes. They messed up. They should have known better. How do we move on? We have the phrase, let it slide.
I'll let it slide this time.
It sounds so casual. Whatever, I'll let it slide.
It sounds casual, but it's actually a power move. Letting it slide means I have the right to punish you or call you out, but I am choosing mercy. I am granting you a pass.
But the source adds a crucial caveat. I'll let it slide this time, but I hope you don't make a habit of it.
That is the perfect formula. Let it slide is the carrot. Don't make a habit of it is the stick.
It sets the boundary. You get one freebie.
Exactly. If you just let it slide without the warning, you aren't being kind. You're being a doormat. You're training them to mistreat you. The habit part tells them, I am watching and I am counting.
Now, if things have really gone off the rails, maybe we didn't let it slide and we had a big fight, we need to repair the relationship. We have this beautiful idiom, mend our fences.
I was hoping that we could mend our fences.
I love the imagery here. It feels very rustic. Two neighbors meeting at the property line.
It goes back to that Robert Frost poem, right? Good fences make good neighbors. When the fence is broken, the boundaries are unclear, cows wander into the wrong yard, conflict happens.
So mending fences isn't just saying sorry.
No, and that's a key insight. It's structural. It implies work. We need to get our tools, stand together, and rebuild the structure of our relationship so we can coexist again.
It feels very collaborative. It's not, I'm fixing this for now. It's, let's fix this together.
It's an invitation to labor. And part of that labor is understanding what went wrong in the first place. But, and here's a major tip from the sources, you have to be careful how you ask why.
Right. Asking, why did you do that? It just sounds like an interrogation.
It triggers defensiveness immediately. Why did you do that? Because I felt like it. It puts people in a corner.
So what's the alternative? How do we ask why without all that baggage?
The source suggests a much softer, more analytical alternative. What led to that decision? Or what led you to that decision?
That's a subtle shift.
It is, but it changes everything. It treats the bad decision as a destination. We're just looking at the map to see which road you took.
It separates the person from the action.
Exactly. It invites them to explain their logic, to tell the story of the mistake, which usually lowers the temperature. It's curiosity, not judgment.
We have one final segment before we wrap up. This one is for the unsung heroes, the people doing the heavy lifting.
Ah, the legwork.
Don't worry, I'll do the legwork.
This is one of the most valuable things you can say in a team context.
What actually counts as legwork?
It's the unglamorous stuff. It's not the big presentation. It's the 3 hours of Googling to find the stats for it. It's walking the pavement, making the phone calls, standing in line, formatting the document.
It's the sweat equity.
If you tell a colleague, you focus on the strategy, I'll do the legwork, you are essentially saying, I will handle the friction so you can handle the glory.
That builds serious loyalty.
It does. It shows you are a grinder. You aren't too good for the hard work. It establishes you as an indispensable support system.
So what does this all mean? We've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from getting the point across with shock tactics to mending fences with angry neighbors.
We've looked at beating the traffic and doing the legwork. It really shows that English proficiency, real proficiency, isn't just about grammar rules. It's about social strategy.
It's about having the right tools in your belt.
These phrases are social lubricants. Think about it. Asking for money is awkward, but saying, we need it up front, makes it professional. Admitting a mistake is painful, but saying, that's on us, makes it dignified.
And asking a flaky friend if the invitation still stands keeps you from looking desperate.
Precisely. The words you choose change the emotional texture of the reality you are in. You aren't just describing the situation, you are shaping it.
That's so true.
When you say, I'll let it slide, you are choosing grace over conflict. When you say, I deliberately use that word, you are choosing clarity over comfort.
It's empowering to know you have these options. Instead of just reacting to a conversation, you can actually steer it.
Which brings us to a final thought I'd like the listener to chew on.
Let's hear it.
We talked about letting it slide, and we talked about standing your ground. We also talked about knowing when you don't see the point in talking anymore.
Right.
So here's the question. At what point in a conversation do you decide it is no longer worth doing the legwork to explain yourself?
That's deep.
We often over-explain. We try to get the point across to people who are committed to misunderstanding us. So how do you distinguish between a moment that requires you to fight for clarity versus a moment where the most powerful survival English move is to simply realize you don't see the point?
Sometimes the best survival English is knowing when to stop speaking.
Or at least knowing when to stop digging.
I'm going to be thinking about that one. Thanks for guiding us through the stack.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.